Ew. That's the way to start a stream. Alright. Nice opening match. That was the first match, yeah. Hello, guys. DJ. Where's the other DJ? Good afternoon, what's it, How are you doing? It's going to start raining here soon, but hopefully it's not a thunderstorm. That's why I got my groceries earlier. Two back-to-back fevers that don't work immediately. Oh. I would never understand why people keep spamming like that. It never does anything for them. I guess that might be a time zone difference for you then, because for over here it's still 3 p.m. So definitely not early in the slightest. Honestly, I'm fine with daylight savings. I don't mind leaving work and actually seeing the sun still be up, rather than everybody having their high beams on when you're trying to drive, because it sucks when you're trying to drive at night. Good evening, or afternoon, Death. How are you doing? What? Yeah. I don't know if that was marked time or what. How's you doing today, Mr. Dana? Hopefully it's not about the rain there, too. But I think we're going to be having rain for the next few days here in Virginia, so business as usual. Yep, sure is humid, alright. That's the way it is here. Cloudy, but no rain yet. I mean, yeah, it was cloudy all day, but I knew it was going to rain today. That's why I went earlier for my groceries. Probably not. I think the whole Battle Royale craze is over. Like, there's still being Battle Royale games being made, of course, on mobile and stuff. Like, Fortnite's still going on. I just mean more so, like, new ones. The hype has died down with the genre, so I don't think we're going to be seeing nearly as many games pop up in that anymore like we were in, like, the past 2 years. I think the reason why they blew up, honestly, so much wasn't just because Fortnite gained so much popularity, but also because, you know, the pandemic. Everybody was stuck at home. But now that it's basically over, people have other things they want to do besides just being on a game all day. So you're not going to be seeing them as much. They want shorter, like, more concise experiences than games that run on way too long these days. I don't mean that. I don't dislike those, because, you know, I like Tetris 99 and stuff too. It's just I don't see that genre being as big as it was during the pandemic anymore. It was the same thing with, like, Animal Crossing. You know, that new Animal Crossing, New Horizons. It did so well because it happened to come out around the same time the pandemic was starting, and people were stuck at home anyway. But now you don't really see much people talking about it anymore. Not just because it's been out for so long, but also because most people already finished almost everything with it. The only people who are still playing it are people who just want to do the actual Zen part and not just, you know, villagers and stuff. There's nothing wrong with people liking Super Mario games, so, by the way, but it's just that, it's, you know, not that many people have that much time to dedicate to games anymore, especially when you have, like, a family and stuff. You want to play for a bit, then stop, rather than dedicating a huge chunk of time to it, but, this is one of the reasons why I still play Puyo, actually. Like, I have a problem with not finishing a lot of the games I bought, especially for the Switch and PS4, because it's just a lot of time. But, it's easy to pick up and play for just like an hour or so, and you can be done. But you don't have to, like, dedicate 72 hours to it. I think a lot of people are asking for shorter games these days as well. So, like AAA studios releasing shorter games. Like I think stuff like probably Mario World Wonder or Super Mario Wonder and the new Sonic game might be scratching that itch. People who wanted to play a pretty good Mario or Sonic game that's not like super long anymore. Yeah, exactly. Like just being able to play for a bit. I think that's also one of the reasons why the Battle Royale thing was so blowing up, because most of them you can pick up and play for a little bit. You don't have to dedicate a huge time to it at once. But even so, like now that there's more options and there's plenty of them now still running, like Fortnite and other stuff, people have spread out instead of having to converge on a few games. There could still be more, I'd say, like different genres, but it's just the attention isn't as much there anymore. So I like RPGs as well, but they don't necessarily have to be super long games. Like if you think about the older ones, the NES, SNES era, the 16-bit and 8-bit era, most of them, while you still had to grind in most of them, you could beat them in a few hours, like, you know, maybe 6. So even if you put it down, you don't have to worry about, like, there's still 72 hours of game left. Like, that wasn't the case back then. But I would say for most of those older games, you're going to want to play a more modern version anyway. So like Final Fantasy 1, for example, never touch the NES version again. There's no reason to play that when literally any other version that's not that is better. Because the NES one is super broken. Half the spells don't work. Intelligence doesn't do anything. Like, there's a lot of glitches. The special equipment doesn't work at all. Like, you know, stuff that's supposed to have a special property doesn't do anything. So it's just like, why play that when you can just play the PSP version? It fixes all those problems and it looks a lot better. No need to deal with that anymore. Same thing with Pokemon Gen 1. Like, there's literally no reason to play Red anymore now that we have Fire Red. Oh, I like this Legend of Zelda Game Boy Color games as well. Link's Awakening and Oracle games. The only thing that the Switch remake does better for Link's Awakening, like if you don't care about the graphics, is the gameplay. Like, you don't have to switch items as much as you did because there's more buttons. But other than that, like, it's mostly the same. Just a few additions here and there, like extra heart pieces. So you can play either and be fine, really. Like, you're not going to have a broken experience like I was talking about with Final Fantasy 1 on NES. So you can play either version of that and be perfectly fine. Most people would probably play the Switch one now because it's the most accessible, but you know. Yeah, speedrunners have figured out like RNG manipulation and all that stuff, but you know, the casual player isn't going to really care about that. But even so, it's also the speed. So like, if you're trying to get through the game in a relatively decent amount of time without it taking a yet forever, a lot of the older versions of RPGs like Final Fantasy 1 require you to do a lot more grinding than the newer ones. And you know, that just adds weight to the time. Because to me, grinding is a difficulty. It's just more like a, do you have the numbers we want you to have to continue, which, you know, this sucks. I'd rather the game be balanced in such a way that you can keep moving as long as you're playing strategy, like, strategy. That's what Chrono Trigger does. You don't have to stop in Chrono Trigger at all to grind. I know that 8 was also that controversial one because of that, but also because of the junction system. I didn't play it. The only ones I've played were 1 through 7. So I can't say from first-hand experience how I feel about it, but it sounded kind of silly. Like, the problem with games that have enemies that level up with you is that the optimal way to beat those games often ends up being just remaining low level. Like, even in that game, if you just don't level up, the game is much easier than if you do. It's kind of silly. It kind of also negates the progression it feels. Like, what's the point of having a level system if everything's just gonna level up with you? You might as well just remove it. I've always felt like the levels in RPGs should be the player's personal difficulty slider. Like, how much easier they want to make it on themselves rather than being a required thing. Oh, this isn't good. No matter what I do here, I'm screwed. Okay. Well, so like I don't think like a literal difficulty slider with RPGs. I mean more so like the leveling itself being your difficulty slider. Like if the game is balanced in such a way that it'll always work if you just keep moving, like Chrono Trigger. If you're having a hard time for some reason, all the way, at a certain point, you can just stop and grind yourself, and the game won't scale with that, and you can make it easy on yourself. But as long as you are playing fine, then you can just keep moving. And that's what I mean by a personal difficulty slider. That way, players can tailor it to what their needs are, rather than the game just forcing you to have certain numbers. It's something I'll make sure I'm going to take care of in my games. Like, I'll always have the bosses balanced in such a way that you can keep moving. But I need to take care that, players will still be able to grind if they choose. But I'm going to limit how much, because, I still want them to be able to overcome it with skill rather than just pumping the numbers a whole lot. But it'll be like, I would never balance the boss around expecting you to have the max stats in the area, like when the EXP stops coming. I would never do that. It would just be more like maybe 3 or so levels away from what the actual maximum could be for the area, so that way you have a little bit of breathing room for your difficulty slider. Well, yeah, you can do self-inflicted rules, I guess, but it's just more so. I think Paper Mario, I've been told, does this, where like you can only get to a certain level before you reach the next area. Like I was gonna do something like that, but you would never need to be the max level of the area to actually win. It's just more so giving you a buffer and preventing you from cheesing the game too hard. That's all. But you know. I've heard like Paper Mario has a level cap area. Like you can only reach like say level 5 in the first area. Then when you get to the next one, you can only reach up to level 10, something like that. But I haven't played it, so I don't know. That's what I heard. The way it's going to work in my game is it'll start decreasing how much EXP you get based on your level related to the enemies. So if you are the same level, you'll get 10 EXP, meaning you'll take 10 kills to get to a level up. If you are one level over, you'll get 5. If you are 2 levels over, you'll get 2. If you're 3 levels over, you'll get 1. And then after that, you won't get anything else. So you can't stay there forever grinding. But I would never like balance the boss's stats to expect you to have reached the point where you stop getting experience. I would do it much before that, so that way you have breathing room. Yeah, exactly. That's all it's for. Is to make it so that you actually move forward instead of staying in one spot. Do that as a speedrun? I don't know. I don't know about Final Fantasy 7 speedruns, but that's just how I was going to design my game. Yep, and that's how this level system will work. You slowly get less and less as you get a higher level over them. Eventually, they stop giving you anything, so you either have to get over it like skill at that point. Well, I guess you have to, I think, and then just move forward. Then you can start getting experience again as you get to the next area. Because, the enemies will be a higher level in the next area, so it's just by nature of the system doing that, rather than, me just literally saying, you reached level 5, therefore you got no more experience. It's just what's going to happen naturally. So I don't even have to, calculate the max level of each area. I just need to play normally and see what level you end up at on average, and then balance the enemies accordingly. And their levels. Yeah, I'm doing it again in the studio. That's a system that's going to be easy to implement, though, because, you know, it's just a script you're going to make that does the whole EXP calculation by taking the enemy's level in as a parameter. You know, it don't always know how much to give you based on that. Also, I should say Game Maker Studio too, but yeah, it's in that one. I need to get back to it. It's been a while, but I've also been working on art lately. I've been trying to practice some shading improvements, so... Well, I never subscribed to that mentality. Like, I don't think you have to be X to criticize something. Because, you know, you have a user experience always. So whether or not it's the same as developer experience, like, you know, maybe they were crunched or something, that's different, but it's still a valid criticism of the product. Like, you don't need to be a chef to tell a person that the food is burnt or overcooked or something, for example. It's the same thing with games. Like, there's just some things you can objectively call out. Like, hey, the controls are very delayed. It takes like a second for the character to do something after I press a button. That's just an objective fact. No matter how people feel about the overall game, that's a valid criticism. It's always important to separate out the stuff like that, because there's always going to be the subjective things like the graphics, but then there's the stuff that you just can't deny. Like, no one's going to defend, or I should say, not claim that Mario 1's controls aren't stiff on the NES, because they are very much stiff. The physics got better in Mario 3. Oh, yeah, it's been a while since I played, but I remember the sound effects being also echoey because the PlayStation 1 often added reverb to everything, which was fine. Like, it gave it its own unique sound. But, well, I think the suggestions could still come, especially if the remakes possible. Like, it could be stuff that's applied to the remake. Like, for example, if I were to... I've already told you about bike gripes with Final Fantasy 1 and NES now, but we have better versions, so they've already been addressed. Could you imagine having to play an RPG now where you have to buy items one at a time in the shop? That sucks. But not in the remakes. They fixed that starting with the Wonderful on Color version. Now you can buy 50 potions in one go instead of having to buy potion things 50 times. I don't think there's like an expiration limit on these kind of things anyway, because, you know, your experience is going to be experience. I would see it as no different as somebody who plays some NES game for the first time now, like on the couch next to their friend, and then I give them their thoughts right after they finish it. Like, it's no different than that to me, because everybody's like playing them at the same time, so... but, you know, maybe their misgivings with an old version has been resolved in a remake. You wouldn't know that by playing that version, though. That's often why I'm looking for the best version of the game to play when I play it, because I usually only going to do one playthrough. So, I want the version that has the most polish and the most content, so I can experience as much as I can in one go, rather than having to play multiple versions. So that's the reason why I don't think the Pixel remasters are the best versions to play, for example, because while they have a lot more quality of life, they don't have all the content that the previous versions had. That would be the PSP remakes. If you want to experience like the Labyrinth of Time in Final Fantasy 1 and all the bonus dungeons the GBA had to offer, you're only going to be able to do that in the PSP version. And that's just sucks, you know? Is it really that hard to make a comprehensive version? They didn't have to do that, but they did. I always think that later releases should be the definitive version. They should have everything that the previous versions had, and maybe more, but at least everything the old ones had. It depends. That's a case-by-case basis, because, you know, not all remakes are created equal. Some remakes are bad, some remakes are okay, some remakes are the definitive version. It just depends on how they handle it. Because remember, there's also different kinds of remakes. You have what I call reimaginings, which are like this. They take the same story, but might even twist that up a bit. Same setting, but the gameplay could be very different. The map design could be very different, like stuff like that. I think when it's like to the point where you can't even call it the same game is when the gameplay is very different. Because like if you play Final Fantasy VII's remake, you can't say you played Final Fantasy VII because it is not even a turn-based RPG. It's a completely different experience. But then, if you look at Final Fantasy I's remake on PSP, the one I was talking about as a definitive version, it plays almost the same as the original. The only thing that's different is instead of spell charges, you have one unified mana pool, which is fine. Like, it doesn't really change the game if you don't use Ethers, because Ethers didn't exist in the old version, as well as Phoenix Downs. So, if you don't use those, you'll have a similar experience as the original, just without all the bugs. But, you know, people who don't want to just be grinding all day to have the right numbers can use those resources and still have a good time. It's also so you know there's like 4 different categories I have there. So ports are like literally the same game. They like emulating the old game on the newer system. That would be like Nintendo's Virtual Console or something like that. The game is unchanged at all, and it's just emulating the old one. That's okay, but I don't see any need to buy those anymore because it's like you can literally just emulate it now yourself from the first page of Google in like 5 minutes. So I don't really see those as worth it. Then there's remasters where it's like they port the game with the same code base, but they might like tweak some things, like you know the textures, like Kingdom Hearts HD Collection. Those are like the same as the PS2 games, Final Mix versions, but with higher res textures and some slight differences, like 60 FPS and the controls being a little bit better for Kingdom Hearts 1, but that's pretty much it for a remaster. You're not going to really see any drastic changes there. Remakes can be like remasters, where like they recreate the game from scratch, but they try to get it as close as possible to the original. That's still fine. That's still a remake though, because they're literally rebuilding it from scratch. It's just with a reimagining where they try to change everything up, like from the core gameplay to the way the story plays out, stuff like that. I lean more towards wanting remakes instead of reimaginings, because I want like this same game but better, and not necessarily a different experience. Like Zelda 2, for example, if I were to get a remake of that game, I wouldn't want it to be like a 3D Zelda game. I would want it to play exactly the way it has before, but without the frustrations it used to have. Make Link's sword longer, make it so that you don't have these annoying live systems and keep getting sent back to the beginning. You know, stuff like that. Like, and of course, better graphics, because you don't need a game that looks like that anymore. But, you know, that's just what I would want to see from a Zelda 2 remake, because then you can play it in a much better experience and still have all the same checkpoints. It's still a RPG that's a platformer. It's still got the palaces. It's still got the keys and the spells. Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 probably are the ones I need to remake the most because they're so clunky. I love them, but they have definitely aged. Save states? I don't necessarily have anything against save states. I just more so, when I use them as like a placeholder for what it would have been or should have been a save point system. So like, I don't use it to keep reloading in the middle of a boss fight. I use it to save before the boss fight so I can keep trying the boss over till I get it right. But I'm not going to use it to cheat my way through. Because the thing that a lot of those old games did back then, which sucked, was keep sending you back to the beginning. It just wastes your time. Like, you just want a chance to try it again. You don't want to keep doing the whole game over again. It doesn't make any sense anyway. Like, when you fail, like, say, kindergarten or like first grade in school, you don't have to go back and do like kindergarten again. You just go back and do first grade again. But that's not the way a lot of those older games work. It's like if you lose all your lives, you go back to the title screen and you have to start back to stage 1. It sucks. Yeah, that's pretty much how I categorize them. Because remasters can have some slight touches, like I mentioned before with the Kingdom Hearts collections. Kingdom Hearts 1's controls are definitely way better than they were, and they're in 60 FPS now. So the original KH1 on the PS1, you had PS2, you had to use the L and R buttons to control the camera, just turn it around, which is silly. The right analog stick wasn't used at all. But in the HD collections, you can use the right analog stick to control the camera like you'd expect. And you can also use triangle to interact with stuff, because in the old one, you couldn't. You had to use the bottom left command menu to talk to things or pick something up. But now you can just press triangle, so that's much better. Oh yeah, the first Kingdom Hearts also did let you skip the cutscenes, right? So if you die on, like, say, Dark Riku's fight, you have to see that whole cutscene again, but now you can just skip it. Leading him into everlasting darkness. But, you know, stuff like that is exactly why I like remasters and remakes that stay close to the original, because now you can try to have a better experience and still get all the same things. That's what I want. I don't want a completely different game. Like, if they're gonna do that, like a reimagining, they might as well have just made a new game. That's how I see it. Why change it up that much if it's not anything close like the original? That's not to say reimaginings can't be fun. I have played a fun one, like Sword of Mana on the Game Boy Advance. It's a reimagining of Final Fantasy Adventure on the Game Boy. It has a similar story. They changed some things up though, and the character designs and all that. It plays still like an action RPG, but it's missing all the Zelda elements that the original had, so that's why it's still a very different game. It was fun, but you know, I would say play both in that case. That one doesn't replace the original like a good remaster should. Yep, there's my crash. I'm surprised it took so long. Of course, it happens right after I set off my chain, but it's fine. We can see the destruction and who survives. Or maybe not, because the board will be frozen too. Rematch. There's the underscore. Oof underscore type. Rare Puyo Express. Yeah. Definitely not rare. Oh, let me turn the music back on. Well, here's a question for you guys. And I think I've asked Danny this before, but for you guys, what do you want to see out of a remake? Because for me, I just want the definitive version. So, the one that has everything, has the most polish, has the most content, has all the content, from the previous versions, and I'm happy. Better graphics too. I mean, I don't mind if they don't change the graphics, but I would hope they at least try, you know? Having it look exactly the same as it did 20 years ago, it doesn't seem like a good idea to me. Now, you can have toggles, though. Like, I'm fine with toggles, but I just don't see a reason to literally keep it the same. That's why, Sonic Origins was underwhelming to me, because, you know, the same Sonic sprites have been used for so many years that they're just kind of not interesting to look at anymore to me. I'd rather them have done something like Sonic 2 HD, where we can see the game in a more polished state. But that's just me. Final Fantasy 1's PSP remake, or 1, 2, and 4, like, those are good examples too. They look really good, and it's a good way to give more detail to the old familiar world. Heck, even the Crash Insane trilogy and the Spyro Reignited trilogy are also really good examples. Actually, Super Mario All-Stars in this Super Nintendo was a good example of great remakes. Like, it's the same games, but looking better and having a save system, so you don't have to leave your console on overnight just to beat them. I always found it strange that such long games didn't have a save system, but I know back then memory was expensive, so they couldn't just add a battery save to everything. Actually, really quick, whilst that goes on, I'm going to order something before it starts to pour. This thing might start to rain already, but I don't know what I want, actually. Maybe a pizza? Or I could do pennies before they close. I just realized what time it is. Yeah, they should have. Mario 3 should have had a save system. That was a really long game, and it also gets really hard at the end, so, like, having to start over sucks. Like, the warp bristles are there, but they don't get you back exactly where you were, and you also don't come back with the inventory you had, if you got there naturally, so... that game really needed one. That's why I was happy to see the All-Stars version, because that's just, like, the better versions of all of them. Of course, the Game Boy Advance versions are even better gameplay-wise, but, you know... before the Game Boy Advance version. The Super Nintendo one would have been definitive. Yeah, also one of the reasons why I was super salty, they kept porting the NES one over and over, but not the Game Boy Advance ones. I'm like, come on, guys. The Game Boy Advance ones literally have everything they have, but more. Like, why do you keep putting the inferior versions? Oh, that was kind of nasty. I'll basically just stop when my food comes, but that's probably going to be around like 4:30ish, so we should be good. Yeah, that happens. I want to give you guys more good matches like that, where we have tennis. Gotta give Dan his ping pong.
この力溢れてる。アシットアシットアシット。手直しできます。勝ったのか。俺はもっと強くなる。 強くなる。
And then there were two. Yeah, here's the ping pong we needed. I'm glad I saved this piece. I'm actually surprised that worked. I didn't expect it to happen. That's one way to end a ping pong match. Oops. Oops. Well. Yeah, that happens. So the reason why that's happening, Mojin, is because it looks like there's some kind of memory leak with the way this client handles resource loading in and out. So every time people switch his characters, it just makes it worse. That's why if you stay the same character for a while, everybody does, the room will be mostly stable. But as people keep switching characters between rounds, it just gets closer and closer to crashing. Eventually it does. That's why when people are flicking through the characters really fast, it crashes even faster, because it's just trying to load and unload all those resources, and it just doesn't do it well. Oh, there's mine though. Again. My food's not here yet though, so I'll still go for a little bit longer. I think they're on their way to Vinny's, so almost. It'll probably be around like 4:55. I mean 4:45 at this rate. Oh, the music's still on. Hang on, I can fix that. There we go. Well, like I said before, Wanted, I'm not pursuing animation or anything, so I doubt that would happen. For me, it's just for fun. The only ones that are actually meant to be in content, like from me planning, are my game characters. But otherwise, everybody else is just for fun. I was meant to make comics with them, but I just ended up not having time. You know, doing other stuff and trying to do game dev at the same time. Having my hands too many pots, so I had to commission that out to some other things if I wanted to see them doing stuff, because it just takes too long. It was meant to be a comic, but yeah, like I said, time. But it's okay. Like I don't mind commissioning others to draw stuff with them. I just have some silly parts, but I do want to. I do still enjoy drawing them from time to time when I can. That's one of the reasons why I don't think I'll ever stop drawing, even though I'm really focused on game dev, because it's just a fun hobby, especially when it's like after work. I've already been coding all day, so I'm probably not going to do that after work. I can just draw instead. Another hobby to get fulfillment out of. Okay, now my food's in the way, so I'll stop after this one then. Looks like it's about to start raining anyway. So what timing? Like this, it's gotten darker in here. I need to turn the light on. Alright. Well, hope that was at least intense enough for you guys this time. For now, I must go. Get ready for the food to come. It's almost here, actually. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.